Hello, hola, greetings, namaste. This is Andrew Cooper, and you're watching The Fifth Minute. We begin with a question today from Sheldon Winterbottom of Hoboken, New Jersey. Now, this question has sparked my interest. I'm going to relate it to you guys. Is racism okay if everybody is getting made fun of? Is it accepted if a comedian or TV show makes fun of all types of people, from white to Mexican, black to Asian? Isn't that equality? That is a doozy, Sheldon. But I believe that I may be able to help you. Shows like South Park and The Boondocks are animation cartoon shows that usually poke fun at race. From saying anti-Semitic remarks to having Uncle Ruckus on The Boondocks hating his own black skin and wishing he was white, even comedians like Tosh 2.0 has a segment in his show called Is It Racist? Is it wrong? Yes. Is it funny? Yes. South Park has been going strong since 1997. So, isn't it funny? Well, you see, racism is a term that has coincided with man since, the beginning of the world. Webster's dictionary has the definition: racism is the belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that a racial difference produces an inherent superiority of a particular race. Racism is something atrocious. It has a nasty smell, like day-old beef and cheese sandwiches. I know I wouldn't want somebody making racial comments about me and my race. In fact, I might have to go Kimball slice on. Sadly, there are generations of ethnic groups who have been subjected to racial abuse, and there are many who despise the fact that people find humor in it. Still, however, there are others who believe racial humor can help us move on from the past.
Racism is so relatable. In a way, we all naturally harbor racial prejudice towards each other. We think that our own race or ethnic group is better. And when racism is used in comedy, it is approved by the general public because they categorize it as dark humor. And dark humor allows the public to make fun of an otherwise serious matter that we still see in society today.
Many ethnic groups have experienced racism, and comedians make bank off of ridiculing their own stereotypes for their own cultures. But I guess we'll never know. There will always be people who believe no aspect of racism is funny, and there will always be other people who feel as though that laughing at it can help us forget the pain. In truth, it matters on having empathy and understanding when the joke or moment has crossed the line. So back to the question Mr. Winterbottom asked at the beginning of our broadcast. Is racism okay if everybody is getting made fun of? In my opinion, yes and no. Regardless of whoever you are or wherever your culture's from, derogatory words and phrases are still being said. However, many people would argue that in a sense it is equality. If you make fun of every culture instead of targeting just a particular one, it's accepted in the way that everybody can now relate and understand each other more through a comedic light.
A lot of people don't like my comedy. A lot of white people don't like my comedy. A lot of white people say this to me. Hey, aamer. Hey. You get on stage, you make your jokes about white people. You say white people this, white people that. What if I did something like that, huh? What if I got on stage and I said, yeah, black people are like this, Muslims are like that? You'd probably call me a racist, wouldn't you? And I say, yeah, I would. Yeah, you should never do that. That's bad for your health. They're like, well, you do that, aamer. You do that. You get on stage, you make your jokes about white people. Don't you think that's a kind of racism? Don't you think that's dun 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 reverse racism? I said no. I don't think that's reverse racism. Not because I think reverse racism doesn't exist, right? If you ask some black and brown people, they'll tell you flat out there is no such thing as reverse racism. I don't agree with that. I think there is such a thing as reverse racism, and I could be a reverse racist if I wanted to. All I would need would be a time machine, right? And what I'd do is I'd get in my time machine, I'd go back in time to before Europe colonized the world, right? And I'd convince the leaders of Africa, Asia, the Middle East, Central and South America to invade and colonize Europe, right? Just occupy them, steal their land and resources, set up some kind of like, I don't know, trans-Asian slave trade where we exported white people to work on giant rice plantations in China. Just ruin Europe over the course of a couple of centuries so all their descendants would want to migrate out and live in the places where black and brown people come from. But of course, in that time, I'd make sure I set up systems that privilege black and brown people at every conceivable social, political, and economic opportunity. The white people would never have any hope of real self-determination. Just every couple of decades, make up some fake war as an excuse to go and bomb them back to the Stone Age and say it's for their own good because their culture's inferior, and then, just for kicks, subject white people to colored people's standards of beauty, so they end up hating the color of their own skin, eyes, and hair. If, after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of that, I got on stage at a comedy show and said, hey, what's the deal with white people? Why can't they dance? That would be reverse racism.
Marvin, thank you. You've been great. Good night.